So I guess I was both upcycling and being sustainable at the same time. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyla, and I make my own designs, do pattern hacks, home decorating, and a whole lot more. So, this yellow dress that I made about, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, at the time I loved it, but now I don't. So, what I'd like to do is take the fabric, because I've got about 3, maybe 3.5 yards to work with, and turn it into something else. I'm hoping to get a short set. That's what I would really like out of it. That would be ideal. But if not, then I'll just turn it into another dress. It's a little bit more form-fitting. The baby doll look was cute back then, and it was really comfy to put on, but not anymore. So I'm being sustainable. Let's get started. So I've started taking the dress apart, and I'm really not going to be able to use the top portion because it's just too short. It's not long enough for the shorts or any piece of the vest. So that part I won't be using, but the whole bottom is probably enough for the shorts and maybe 2 sections of the vest. And then I might keep these pockets and just reuse them on the shorts. I might shorten them just a little bit. I'll see how bulky they are, because if they are too bulky, I have a lightweight muslin type cotton that I'll just use instead. But I might be able to use those. So I've got this to take apart, and I'm not going to use a seam ripper. I'm just going to cut it because the main part that I need is the full skirt part. So I'm not going to use that gathering area anyway. And then I also had this piece that's a good size that was left from when I made the dress. And I'm glad I kept it because this will take up whatever pieces I need to complete the vest. And it's long enough too, since I'm extending it. So I've definitely got enough fabric here, and I can't wait to see this finished. So I decided to start with the shorts first, and I'm using this pattern for my pattern hack. I like how there's no waistband and the proportions are correct because I've made the pants before. So I'm just going to cut those a little bit shorter to use them as shorts. And I'm going to add pockets to the side, and I'm taking the zipper from the side placement that they have and putting it in the back. Should be pretty easy. Okay, so I have the front sections and the back sections of the shorts cut out. I've got my darts in place, and I also went ahead and serged the back of the shorts. This is where the zipper is going to go in, since I'm not putting it on the side. I have the inner facing, or the front facing and back facing, just pinned in place, because I'm going to wait until I actually put the shorts together to see where the seam allowance lands and everything, because I did grade out the pattern from a size 10 to a 12. So since I made that change, I'm not going to cut these just yet in case I have to make adjustments. I'll also cut out interfacing for these as well. And then for the pockets, I decided to use just a lightweight cotton fabric that will blend in with the yellow instead of putting yellow on top of yellow. When I kept the fabric the same, I could see the outline of the pocket through it, and I didn't care for how that looked, so I wanted to just kind of disappear. But other than that, I've got everything cut, ready to go, and now I can start putting together the legs of the shorts. Okay, so I went ahead and finished off the crotch seams with my serger. And now I'm going to stitch the inside seam on both legs. And then I can attach the two fronts to the back and move on to the zipper. So I have my inseam stitched, and I've pinned in place the front to the back, stopping right at the point where I'm going to change my stitch gauge to a basting stitch to be able to insert the zipper. That'll allow me to see how I like the placement. Is it straight? And I can make any changements easily with just having a loose stitch in there instead of a finished stitch. I just want to point out what I meant by changing the length of my stitch to a basting stitch for the zipper installation. Right here you can see where the stitching is tighter, but then I start to loosen it about around like the 9-inch point, maybe 10 inches or so that I gave myself, so that I have a basting stitch that I can press open both sides of the seam allowance and pin my zipper in place starting from this point. I've got the front and back together, and now I can go about pinning the zipper in place on the back. I really like how this fabric has some stretch to it. It's kind of like a denim or a cotton twill, but with a little bit of spandex in it. So that's really nice. I want to show how I'm going to insert the pockets on these shorts. I got the idea from this pair that I had from, I think, Old Navy. And I like how they folded the fabric in half and just finished off the bottom. And then the side will be finished off with your outside seam for the edge of the pocket. But I like that they removed, or they got rid of, one extra seam that you would have to put in. So I'm going to try to insert pockets this way onto my pair of shorts. I've never done pockets like this before, but it looks pretty easy and straightforward. I started with just one side kind of as a test piece. And here's a little bit of the outer fabric on the outside, just in case when the pocket is opened, you just see yellow, but not the cream. So I'm going to try these out and see how this works. If I like it, this may be my new way of inserting pockets from now on with shorts and pants. I like to baste these types of zippers from the inside and then take my seam ripper, open up the basting stitch of the seam, and top stitch my sides. This just helps me keep the teeth lined up with the seam so that you really don't see them too much from the outside. Okay, so I've got the zipper in, and now I'm tussling a little bit with these pockets because I've never done them like this before, but I think I'm headed in the right direction. I've got both the outer edges attached to the front and the back, and I think that the pocket gets, I'll do a stay stitch here to the front, and then finish off the side, and then I guess the pocket is there. I don't know. We'll just see how this turns out, because like I said, I've never done them like this before, but I'm this far, I'm not going to stop now. Okay, so I've got the pockets in place, and I've also ironed and measured up about 1.25 inches for my hem. I want to do this by hand because I think it'll just look better than machine stitching. And then I have the facing to finish off the top of the shorts. And then these guys are done. Okay, so just to give you all an idea of just how long I extended the vest, not by much, about 6 inches. And really, once I put together the outer shell, I'll be able to really see if I do like that length, and I can always shorten it up a little bit if I need to. And I am really squeezing this vest out. I've got the most mismatched layout possible. But I am making it. I'm making it work. I can extend this here. That should be good for the 2 side back pieces. And then I have just the 2 side front pieces with enough to extend as well. Thank goodness the lining is a different material, because this is really all I have left. Now that I've got the outer shell completed, I've started on the lining, and you're going to take your lining piece and pin that all the way down of your facing that has the inner facing attached to it. And then stitch that down the outer edges of both. So here's one that's already been pinned in place, and this one I'm working my way down. I've got the back seam line stitched in place, and I've pressed the seam allowance flat and open. I've added one side of the panel of the backing, and then I have the other side pinned in place. I can finish that one off and connect the front two pieces of the lining. All right, I've got the back and side panels attached to both front pieces. And I left part of the side bottom of the vest just slightly open, just a little bit. I'll see if I like that look. If not, I'll close it up before I put the lining on it, but I don't know, I think I want a little bit of just a little bit of interest on the side, and it'll be easier to put my hands in and get anything out of a pocket if I need to. Now I can move on to finishing up the lining and then attach that to the front outer piece. I've got the back pinned in place, back of the neckline here, and then also the underarms on both sides, just up to about 3 inches from the top, where I'm going to connect the shoulder seams together, and then each front panel side. And then I'll repeat that for the other side as well. Okay, I've got the lining attached to the outer side of the vest. I just want you guys to take a look at the seams and how I pressed each one of them open flat for this, just so that they would lay a little bit smoother. And this is my opening on the side here. I'm going to try that on before I stitch that up, just to be sure that I like where it hits. And she is coming along. Okay, so I gave her a try on and I just pinned the shoulders in place just so I could slip it on. The sides are attached. But you see the way it's gaping here on her? Her is my mannequin. It's gaping the same way on me. So I need to take both sides in about 1 inch right at the base under the armhole. And then it should feel a little bit more snugger against my arms. But I'm almost finished. Yes, that's the one. So I had this little colorful piece that I got as a clearance remnant from Joann, and I thought it would make a nice scarf to kind of pull out the yellow that's in the outfit that I'm going to make. So I'm just going to square this off about 36 by 36 to give me a good size scarf. I'm just turning over a double fold, 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch for a 1/2 inch total, just to finish off the edge of this fabric to wear as a scarf. So these are all the pieces that I have left from the dress, and they're still big enough to do something else with them. So I'm just going to add these to my fabric stash that I plan to donate to one of my local art centers. They can definitely do something with the top here. They may even put that sleeve back on, who knows. But they can be used. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so pleased with how this turned out because I love that sunshine yellow color. And I find that with a lot of citrus colors, people tend to shy away from them and they'll say, oh, I can't wear yellow, I can't wear orange, I can't wear green. There's really a shade for every complexion. You just have to find the one that's right for you. This is the first time that I've taken a garment that I've sewn and transformed it into something else. I've upcycled from items I've gotten from Goodwill or from relatives, or I've done it for clients and friends of mine, but I've never taken a garment that I've actually sewn and then turned it into a completely different garment. I might do this more often. I was being both sustainable and upcycling at the same time. Nothing wrong with that. Well, if you enjoyed today's video, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.